welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're putting aside the usual investment charts and diving into something, well, maybe even more precise and definitely tastier. We're exploring the really meticulous world of premium Japanese, Spanish mackerel, Sawara.
Right. And the sources you sent over, they're fascinating. They're not just like basic facts. This is more like a chef's masterclass, really.
Exactly.
It digs deep into selection, seasonality, all the techniques you need to take this fish, from just market fish to proper high-end sashimi.
That's the plan. Our mission here is pretty clear.
Uh-huh.
We want to kind of shortcut that learning curve for you, the listener. Unlock that insider knowledge, how to find Sawara, how to prepare it when it's at its absolute best.
Right.
We're aiming for those culinary insights, those aha moments that make a meal truly special.
And it really boils down to timing and method. Always does with great ingredients. And speaking of timing, we should probably start with that seasonal thing.
Yeah.
The sources jump right into this contradiction, especially thinking about places like Aichi Prefecture, famous for its fish, as the weather starts to cool down.
Right. The material says, basically, as those mornings get crisp, the ocean temps shift. That's when Sawara starts getting really good. By October, it's described as genuinely delicious.
Okay, but here's where it gets weird, and maybe a bit confusing if you're just looking at the name.
Go on.
The Japanese character, the kanji they use for Sawara, it actually includes the character for spring.
Spring. Wait, so the name suggests spring, but the best flavor is in autumn. That's a total mind bender if you're trying to source it.
Exactly. You'd naturally assume spring is the time. But the source material is really clear on this. It insists, forget the kanji history for a moment, the fish is fattiest and therefore, most delicious from autumn right through into winter.
Okay, so why? Is it just an old name, or is there a biological reason spring Sawara isn't as good?
Oh, it's pure biology. It's all about energy. Come spring, the fish is putting everything into reproducing.
Spawning season.
Right. So all those valuable fats, the energy stores, they get diverted into making eggs, the roe or the milk, and the meat itself, it gets watery, thinner. It loses that amazing fat content that everyone's after.
So if you want that rich, almost buttery feel,
You have to avoid the spring spawn. You target autumn and winter before it starts that process.
that single piece of info completely changes how you shop for it. And this whole cooling weather thing, it's not just Sawara, is it? The sources mentioned other fish peaking too.
They do. It's like a signal across the market. You see other fatty fish getting ready for the cold. They mention barracuda. Apparently it's cheap, good, and great, just grilled with salt. Simple stuff.
Right.
Some really big catches too, like PC flatfish, huge ones, up to 5 kilos. And long-toothed grouper. Seems like the whole market kind of shifts towards richer, fattier fish in autumn.
But Sawara definitely seems to have a special place, particularly for sashimi. Which brings us to, I guess, the number one rule in these guides. Quality control. Because Sawara, it spoils fast.
Right.
Really fast. So only the absolute freshest fish can be eaten raw safely and actually taste.
And this is where the fishing method becomes just, critical. It determines the quality and definitely the price. The sources draw a clear line between sashimi, which is net fishing, and the method they really recommend.
Okay, net fishing. It's common, it's quicker, cheaper.
Right.
But what's the downside? Does it just leave marks?
It's more than just marks, though you do see those sometimes. It's about the stress on the fish, struggling in a net that releases lactic acid. It affects the texture, the shelf life. The quality drops almost immediately. So the preferred way is single line fishing, pole caught.
And why is that so much better? Just gentler handling.
Exactly. It's careful individual handling. Often the fish are processed, quickly and humanely right there on the boat. It stops the struggling, prevents bruising, keeps the flesh pristine.
Okay.
You get a visibly better product. But, and this is a big but, it costs a lot more. The source gave an example, didn't they? A single fish.
Yeah, around 12,000 yen. That's significant. For one fish, just because it wasn't caught in a net.
Well, is it just because of that? The sources argue no. For sashimi, the difference is huge.
How huge? Like, can an average person really tell?
I think so, especially side by side. A net caught fish that struggled spoils faster. It might have a slightly off, maybe metallic taste. The texture won't be as firm or as clean. That stress and damage really impacts it. The single line method preserves that delicate fat and texture perfectly. And what's interesting is the source points out this isn't unique to Sawara.
Right, you mentioned that.
Yeah, they connect this whole quality catch method thing directly to other really expensive blue fish. Think tuna, swordfish, even kinky. If you're paying top dollar for any of those to eat raw, You need to know how it was caught. It matters.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's talk flavor then. The source is called Sawara, the king of bluefish.
Mm.
That's quite a title.
It is. They describe the flavor as having this unique aroma, a sweetness. And when it's perfectly fresh, that fat isn't fishy at all. It's genuinely butter-like, they say. No heavy odor.
Butter-like fat. Okay, and that links to its anatomy, right? There's something special about where it stores that fat.
Yes, this is maybe the key thing that makes it so valuable in the kitchen. Most fish, they pack the fat into the belly. Think about mackerel, even tuna belly, otoro, super rich there.
Right. The belly's the prize bit, the rest can be a bit lean.
Exactly. The tail end is often lean, sometimes tough or dry. But Sawara, it's different. The fat is distributed incredibly evenly, all through the body, back, tail, everywhere.
Wow, okay. Uniform fat distribution. That must make a chef's life easier. Consistent quality from almost any part of the fillet.
Totally. Maximum yield, minimum waste of the best bits. And the sources really push that philosophy, use everything, especially with a fish this good, this potentially expensive. Even the bones, the head, the backbone, don't throw them out.
What do they suggest for those? Stock.
Boiling, primarily. Simmer dishes. When you boil those bony parts, the bones release this sweet juice, this umami, basically. It makes the broth or the sauce incredibly flavorful. This is true for lots of fish, of course, flavor in the bones, but apparently it's especially good with mackerel-type fish, like Sawara.
And if you prefer it cooked, they mentioned the grilled belly part, the kama.
Oh yeah, singled out as being really delicious. That rich fat caramelizing under the heat, fantastic.
So it's a fish where pretty much every part is a high-value asset. But getting the most out of it needs some advanced techniques, doesn't it? Which takes us into the final section.
Yeah, this is where the masterclass aspect really kicks in, and there's a pretty stark warning right at the start.
Which is?
Sawara is soft. Surprisingly soft, even when it's super fresh. And apparently, it's quite difficult to fillet properly.
It's called how?
You have to cut it minimally. Very sharp knife, surgical precision almost. Because if you don't, the flesh can just split apart. It's delicate.
Why is that so bad? It just looks messy.
It's worse than messy. Soft fish means fragile cells. If you mangle the cut with a dull knife or just bad technique, you rupture those cells.
Oh.
They start leaking water, enzymes. It speeds up spoilage and completely ruins that delicate, buttery texture we were just talking about, turns it into a watery mush instead of a clean slice.
Wow. So it sounds like it demands respect on the cutting board. What about cooking it like a buri style where you sear the skin? That adds heat stress.
It does, and the source is very specific about prepping for that. Sawara skin, it's tough and quite elastic. If you just hit it with heat, it shrinks up, gets hard, sometimes peels away from the flesh in a really ugly way. It's not pleasant to eat like that.
So how do you deal with that? Is there a trick?
Scoring. Tiny, shallow, horizontal cuts across the skin before you cook it.
Before, okay.
Yeah, before any heat. That scoring stops the skin from seizing up and getting tough. It makes sure it cooks nicely, stays attached, looks clean, and the texture is actually good. If you forget or try it after, disaster. Skin peels off, looks ragged.
That scoring tip feels like one of those small details that makes a huge difference. Really practical. And they even describe the ideal eating state for grilled sawara, right?
Yeah.
Something about temperature.
Yes, comparing it to how you might treat high-end tuna. The idea is cook it fast torch or grill, high heat, then chill it immediately. Ice water bath.
Okay, why?
To create a temperature contrast. The goal, the perfection they describe, is the lower part of the flesh is cooled from the chilling, but the very top surface right under the skin is still slightly warm from the sear.
Whoa, cold and warm in the same bite, plus the textures. That sounds incredible.
It's definitely high-level technique, and then you see the presentation details in the guide, and it all clicks. It's about the whole experience.
What do they suggest?
Serving it on a dark round dish, to make the fish pop visually, and specific autumnal garnishes, grated turnip, fresh shiso leaves, a catade for a bit of color.
Like a peppery herb?
Yeah, that red sprout. And sudachi citrus, that bright green lime-like fruit to cut through the richness. It all ties together that autumn theme.
It really paints a picture. Mastering sawara isn't just cooking, it's managing this whole journey, seed to plate. Okay, so let's boil it down. What's the absolute key lesson here for someone wanting to try this?
I think it comes down to respecting those 3 critical timelines the source keeps hitting on.
Yeah.
First, seasonal timing. Get it in autumn or winter, not spring.
Right.
Second, catch timing. It really needs to be a single line caught for the best quality, especially for sashimi.
Got it.
And third, consumption timing. It spoils so fast, it has to be incredibly fresh, truly newly caught. If you slip up on any of those three,
You just get fish.
you get a decent piece of grilled fish, maybe, salty, firm, but you don't get the king of bluefish. You don't get that rich, buttery sashimi experience. That selection process, nailing those timings, it's everything.
That's a fantastic summary. A really deep dive. But, the source material couldn't help itself at the end. It dropped a little teaser about what's next in the sea.
Ah, yeah, tuna season coming up.
Right. They mentioned the Kuroshio Current, how its curve is bringing in lots of salmon right now.
But maybe fewer tuna because of that same current pattern, which is, vital info if you're sourcing fish internationally.
Exactly. And it leaves us, and you, the listener, with a new question. After hearing all this about the intense focus needed for Sawara, the selection, the prep, when tuna season does hit, which autumnal prize would you focus on mastering next? Tuna. Or maybe the equally celebrated Pacific Soaring.
A tough choice. Definitely something to think about as